all of that future that we have can be developed by private enterprise, probably not developed by government. So China, which is top down, has to do what? They have to steal the intellectual property, right?
They will steal certain things that I'm about to mention, but I don't know that it will do them that much good, in the near term at least, because you're fundamentally right, and we have never seen a better example of how right you are than the development of space transportation in the United States, which has been largely dominated by a handful of rocket systems that were designed in the 50s and 60s. And to this day, if there were no Elon Musk, you would need to be launching payloads on, for instance, an Atlas V, and you'd spend about $150 million to launch that payload, but you wouldn't have transparent pricing. You wouldn't actually know what you were paying until the end of the process when it's time to do the wire transfer, because they didn't have to. United Launch Alliance doesn't have to be transparent until Elon Musk forces them to be. And by the way, this may be the only good program Barack Obama ever initiated, but the COTS program allowed the kind of competition in companies like SpaceX that will unleash a new era, and indeed already has begun to. What Elon has done with reusability was laughed at Boeing, was laughed at Lockheed Martin. Russia and China have done nothing to compete with it. They are now hopelessly obsolete on all of their launch systems, all. SLS is a joke. If it ever flies, I'll be surprised. It is simply obsolete, because when Elon can fly that same $150 million payload on a Falcon 9 for $62 million and still make a ton of money on it, who the heck wants an Atlas? Who wants that? By the way, you're talking about a system that was originally designed in the 60s. So Elon builds an entirely new system, spends a lousy $1 billion. I mean, understand, NASA gets $20 billion a year. Elon had 180 million coming out of PayPal, and he put 60 of it into Tesla. So he's got 120 one time, and he puts it into things that blow up in midair. And he comes up with this and eventually makes some money with it and spends $1 billion on reusability. And now you watch it on TV all the time. You'll watch the two boosters from the side of a Falcon Heavy land simultaneously, flawlessly. They're good to reuse in a matter of days. That's hard to compete with. And to give you an idea of the cost differential of where that gets, because it's not there yet because he doesn't have enough of a fleet of these and they haven't flown often enough. But what you're going to see is you're going to see the cost of that $150 million launch drop to about $700,000. Basically, you're paying for fuel, because the rockets are there. The rockets have been flying for a while. It's like getting on a 737. I get on a 737 from Atlanta, I fly to Dallas, no big deal. I spend a few $100s on the ticket. The cost differential is almost identical between that Atlas V and where you'll be in 5 years or 6 with a Falcon 9 as flying to Dallas on a 737 on a passenger ticket and building a brand new 737 to fly one time to Dallas. That's what SpaceX has done. That is why everybody's now obsolete. Will they steal the technology? Absolutely. But they're 10 years behind on implementation, and by then, what Elon is about to roll out is going to make that look like nothing.